What if ancient civilizations didn't disappear? They were buried, not destroyed, not lost, but hidden, deep beneath the surface, waiting. Because across the world, archaeologists keep finding something impossible to ignore. Entire structures beneath ancient cities, deep tunnels, massive chambers, hidden worlds that were never meant to be seen. And the strangest part? We've only discovered a fraction of them. Before we go deeper, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover may completely change how you see history. Because this isn't just about ruins. This is about civilizations that may have continued below. Let's begin beneath Cappadocia. From above, it looks like a peaceful ancient landscape. But beneath it lies something massive. The Derinkuyu Underground City, a multi-level underground world carved deep into solid rock. This isn't a cave. It's a city. Homes, storage rooms, ventilation systems, water sources, everything needed to support thousands of people, completely hidden underground. Think about that. An entire civilization living below the surface, not for days, not for weeks, but for extended periods of time, which leads to the first unsettling question. Why? Because building something like this is not easy. It requires planning, engineering, time. No one creates an underground city without a serious reason. And that's where the mystery begins. Because this idea doesn't exist in just one place. Beneath Rome, the Roman catacombs stretch for miles. In Egypt, hidden voids inside the Great Pyramid of Giza suggest there are chambers we still cannot access. And beneath Malta, the Hal Saflieni Hypogeum reveals an underground structure so precise it feels almost impossible. Different civilizations, different timelines. Same pattern. Build below, hide below, preserve below. But here's the part no one talks about. Many of these places were sealed, entrances blocked, passages closed, as if something inside was never meant to be found. And that leads to a chilling thought. What if these underground worlds were not just places to survive, but places to protect something? Because in the next part, we go deeper into how these underground civilizations actually functioned and why they feel far more advanced than we expect. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath was never truly gone. What if these buried civilizations were not just hiding, but preparing to survive something catastrophic? Because the deeper we explore these underground worlds, the more one thing becomes clear. These were not temporary shelters. They were fully engineered survival systems, built to function even if the world above failed. Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to discover may completely change how you see ancient intelligence. Because now, we are no longer asking what lies beneath. We are asking how these civilizations survived below. Return once again beneath Cappadocia, inside the incredible Derinkuyu Underground City. At first, it feels like a maze. Narrow tunnels, multiple levels, hidden chambers. But look closer, and something powerful reveals itself. This wasn't chaos. This was design. Take the ventilation system. Deep vertical shafts carved through solid rock. These shafts allowed fresh air to circulate across every level, even the deepest parts of the city, which means no matter how far underground people went, they could still breathe, without machines, without modern technology. Ancient builders created a natural airflow system capable of sustaining thousands of people. That alone is extraordinary. But survival requires more than air. It requires water. Inside the city, wells were carved deep into underground water sources. And here's what makes them even more impressive. Some wells were accessible only from inside the city, which means if enemies discovered the entrance, they couldn't poison the water supply. Everything was protected. Everything was planned. Now think about food. Large storage rooms were built to preserve supplies. Grain, dried food, essential resources, stored safely for long periods of time, which means people weren't hiding for a few days. They were prepared for long-term survival. Weeks, months, possibly even longer. And then there's movement. The tunnels are extremely narrow, sometimes only wide enough for one person. At first, that seems like a limitation. But in reality, it's strategy, because narrow tunnels slow down movement. They prevent large groups from entering quickly. They create defensive choke points. One person can hold a passage. An entire group can be stopped. And then come the massive stone doors, heavy circular slabs that could seal entire sections of the city. Once closed, there was no way through. Entire areas could be isolated instantly, an invisible fortress beneath the ground. And this level of design tells us something important. This wasn't panic. This was preparation. Preparation for something serious enough to require an entire civilization to move underground. And this idea appears again across different cultures. In the Roman catacombs beneath Rome, tunnels stretch endlessly, hidden pathways beneath a living city. Inside the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, internal chambers and sealed voids show precision and hidden design. Different civilizations, same idea, build systems that can survive even when the surface cannot. Which leads to a bigger question. If these underground worlds were built so perfectly, were they meant to stand alone, or were they part of something much larger? Because in the next part, we explore the possibility that these buried civilizations were connected, forming hidden networks beneath entire regions. Stay with the story, because what lies beneath may be far bigger than we imagined. What if these buried civilizations were never meant to exist alone? What if they were connected, forming a hidden network beneath entire regions? Because the deeper we investigate, the more this idea begins to make sense. These weren't just underground cities. They may have been part of something far bigger. Before we go further, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover could completely change how we understand ancient civilizations. Because now, we are no longer looking at a single buried city. We are looking at a system, a hidden layer of the ancient world. Return again to Cappadocia. Hey, underground cities like Derinkuyu Underground City and Cappadocia Underground City exist only a few kilometers apart. But here's where it gets interesting. There's evidence suggesting that these cities may have been connected through underground tunnels, long, narrow passageways carved deep into the earth. If true, this would mean people could travel between entire cities without ever coming to the surface. Think about that. A hidden transportation system. Invisible. Protected. Silent. A world beneath the world. And suddenly, everything changes. Because now, these underground cities are not just shelters. They are nodes, parts of a larger network. But this idea doesn't stop here. Across parts of Germany and Austria, mysterious underground tunnels known as Erdstall have been discovered. These are not natural caves. They are man-made, narrow, winding passages, often too tight to move comfortably. Some lead to small chambers. Others seem to go nowhere. Their purpose is still debated. But their presence across wide regions suggests something important. Ancient civilizations were not just building underground spaces. They were building connections. Now shift your focus to Peru. Beneath ancient sites, there are reports of long underground tunnels stretching far beyond what has been explored. Local traditions even speak of hidden routes connecting distant locations beneath the land. While not all of these claims are fully confirmed, the pattern is difficult to ignore. Different civilizations. Same idea. Build below. Connect below. Move below. Because if the surface world became dangerous, the underground became freedom. A place where people could travel safely, communicate secretly, relocate without being seen. And if that's true, then what we've discovered so far may only be a small part of something much larger. Because many of these tunnels remain unexplored. Collapsed sections block entire pathways. Unknown chambers remain sealed. And in many places, modern cities now sit directly above ancient underground systems. Which means right now, beneath our feet, there could be entire hidden networks still waiting to be discovered, unseen, untouched, forgotten, and that leads to a powerful thought. What if these buried civilizations were not just built to survive, but to continue? A hidden backup system for humanity itself. Because in the next part, we go deeper into the most mysterious layer of all. Spaces that don't look like homes, don't function like tunnels, and may not have been built for survival at all. Stay with the story. Because what lies deeper may not have been meant for everyone. What if the deepest parts of these buried civilizations were never meant for survival at all? Because as we go further down, something changes. The structure shifts, the purpose fades, and the deeper you go, the less it feels like a city. Before we go deeper, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to uncover may challenge everything we think we know about ancient civilizations. Because now, we are entering the most mysterious layer, the part that doesn't make sense. Let's begin beneath Malta, inside the house Saflieni Hypogeum. This is not a place for living. There are no signs of daily life, no kitchens, no storage areas, no clear survival systems. Instead, what we find are chambers, perfectly carved, symmetrical, precise, spaces that feel intentional, but not practical. And then something strange happens. Sound behaves differently here. Certain tones echo unnaturally. Even a whisper can travel across the chamber. It's as if the entire structure was designed to manipulate sound. But why? Some researchers believe these chambers were used for rituals, ceremonies, chanting practices where sound played a central role. Others believe something more complex, that these spaces were designed to create an experience, to influence the human mind, to create feelings of awe, fear, a controlled psychological environment. And that changes everything, because now, these underground worlds are not just physical structures. They are environments designed with intention. Now return again beneath Cappadocia, deep inside Derinkuyu Underground City. Hidden within its lower levels are chambers that feel completely out of place. They are isolated, hard to reach, disconnected from living areas. No signs of storage, no signs of daily use. Just empty space, carved with effort. And that emptiness feels deliberate, because carving into solid rock takes time, labor, planning. No one creates space like this without a reason. Now think about the pattern we've seen so far. Advanced underground cities, hidden networks, controlled movement, sealed sections, and now, unexplained chambers. It's almost as if each layer served a different purpose. Upper levels for survival, middle levels for movement and defense, and the deepest levels for something else entirely, something restricted, something hidden, something not meant for everyone. And that leads to a powerful possibility. What if access to these deeper chambers was controlled? Only certain individuals allowed in, only certain knowledge kept there. Because in many ancient cultures, sacred spaces were hidden, protected, accessible only to a select few. And if that idea extended underground, then these chambers may have been the most important part of all, not because of what they contained, but because of what happened inside them. Which brings us to the final question. Why were these buried civilizations truly built? Because in the final part, everything connects, the cities, the systems, the networks, and the mystery, and we uncover the real reason these underground worlds existed. Stay with the story, because the truth is deeper than we ever imagined. What if these buried civilizations were never lost, only hidden? Because when you connect everything, the underground cities, the survival systems, the hidden networks, and the mysterious chambers, you begin to see a pattern that feels impossible to ignore. This wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. This was intentional. Before we reveal the final idea, stay with the journey and subscribe, because what you're about to realize may completely change how you see human history. Because now, everything connects. Beneath Cappadocia, massive underground systems like Derinkuyu Underground City and Cappadocia Underground City show us how entire populations could survive in secrecy. Beneath Rome, the Roman catacombs stretch for miles, forming a hidden world beneath a living city. Inside the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, sealed voids remain, spaces that exist, but remain beyond our reach. And beneath Malta, the house Saflieni Hypogeum reveals that some underground spaces were not built for survival, but for something far more mysterious. Different civilizations, different timelines, different purposes, but the same pattern keeps appearing. Build below, hide below, protect below, preserve below, and that leads to the final realization. These underground worlds were not just shelters. They were safeguards, places designed to protect something valuable. And that something may not have been just people. It could have been knowledge, ancient records, beliefs, secrets of their civilization, a way to ensure that even if the surface world changed, something would survive, because underground, things last. Temperature stays stable. Structures remain protected. Time moves differently. If you wanted to preserve something for centuries, you wouldn't leave it above ground. You would hide it beneath it. And that may be why so many of these places were sealed. Not to keep people out, but to keep something in. And here's the most powerful thought of all. What if we haven't found everything yet? Because even today, new underground discoveries are being made. Hidden tunnels beneath modern cities, sealed chambers beneath ancient ruins, unknown voids detected by advanced scanning technology, which means right now, beneath your feet, there could be entire civilizations still waiting to be discovered, silent, hidden, untouched for thousands of years, waiting. So the next time you walk through a city, remember this. You're not just walking on history. You might be walking above it. If you want to explore more hidden worlds, buried civilizations, and ancient mysteries, make sure you subscribe and stay with us. Because history isn't gone. It's just hidden. And the deeper you look, the more you realize we've only just begun.